Good morning, Jennifer and Emily. Thank you so much for joining me today. We are so excited to have you at the 7th Annual Step Up Conference. It's coming in, well, it's actually on April 28th. And so you both are going to be presenting on equitable family engagement. So tell me about that.
Yeah, we're really excited to be able to present this. So equitable family engagement is really important to the work that we do with WOBS, and we have been able to see the impact that it has for families and students and really community. And so we're excited to present our definition of equitable family engagement, which is really a recognition that systemic inequities exist, and that it's those that are creating barriers for students and families. So it's not a problem with our students, our families to be fixed, but the system itself. And to address those barriers, that we have to honor the experience and the wisdom of those who are impacted by the inequities, because they are living that. And so we have to partner with our families, with our students, and with our community that are actually impacted. And we have to collaborate in leadership and decision making, the whole kind of package. And so that's what this session and that's what equitable family engagement are about, really, to us, is really engaging the communities that we're serving as partners in addressing these inequities.
And what does WOBS stand for?
WOBS actually stands for Washington Alliance for Better Schools, and we are a consortium of school districts across Washington State. The primary focus and the mission of the organization is that we are going to be working as a collaboration to leverage the resources in our community so that our students can graduate career and college ready. And the equitable family engagement is really, really important to our strategy, to any strategy. So when we talk about, equity and we talk about student success, Jen and I talk about this all the time. You cannot get there unless we have equitable family engagement. So when families aren't aware of all the opportunities that are available for them to deepen their leadership and for them to be the leaders that they are, that we know that they are, we cannot get there. And so the program that we're going to talk about is the Natural Leaders Program that many of you may be aware of, but it is a really, really critical strategic series of steps and framework that we work with to make sure that our schools and our educators are really embracing the leadership of our diverse community and our parents.
That sounds awesome. And so your target audience, who's your target audience?
Our target audience is really anybody that is working with families and students. So, we are primarily working in K-12. So anybody within that audience, but I've also shared our equitable family engagement framework and practices with other community leaders, with higher ed, with our industry partners. So anybody that is looking to go deeper in their engagement with students and families, whether it's in the K-12 setting or outside of that, this would be the session for you.
Which should be everybody.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, we talk about the need for talent in our community, and we talk about higher ed and moving students more into post-secondary. We talk about companies that need more people to work for them, but we can't get there unless we have that deep, intentional conversation and partnership with families. And so sometimes, I would say often, that's not part of the mix. It's not part of the conversation when we're talking about student success. And so we want to make sure that everybody, whether you're an employer, whether you work in the nonprofit field, whether you're in education, that you are a part of this conversation, and really a part of how important equitable family engagement is for any type of success, whether it's business, students, post-secondary, or K-12.
Yeah, and also there's I've read that there's a lot of families that are not students that are not coming back to K-12. And is this something have to do with, do you think that if there was more of a family engagement, that there would be more students coming back into the public school system instead of going elsewhere?
I do. So, what's not sort of stated with all the big fancy words that we talk about in this type of is that at the end of the day, this is relational. It's about building relationships within the community. And when you have those kinds of relationships, then you can have conversations, you can have engagements. You don't have people just walking away without a word and without that understanding. And so oftentimes we're trying to approach things the other way around and it's too late. And so we have to have those relationships first and build those and build that trust and understanding, so that we're not even sort of getting to that point and we can understand each other.
Mhm. And you say some really critical words, Jen, relationship, because with relationship comes responsibility and accountability to each other, right? To ensure that we have a thriving community, it starts with a relationship.
It does. Yeah.
So that's great. So what motivated you to present at the Step Up conference?
Well, honestly, I've been going to the Step Up conference since maybe the first time that I went was 2017-ish. And so I have been a participant for many years in person, virtually. And we actually are having our entire organization participate, because there's so much opportunity for learning and coming together. And so Emily and I were like, and we also have something to share. And it's such a great platform and such a great community to be a part of that we wanted to be able to share what we've seen, what we've experienced, and what we know can actually make a difference in communities.
That's great. Go
And I
ahead.
would just add that, there are equity conferences, but in many ways, there aren't a lot of equity conferences where you have that space where it's regionally focused or where it's a place where you feel comfortable enough to share. And the Step Up conference from the many years that I've attended have been excellent. Great speakers that are your colleagues that that you can learn from, and very well organized. And so I know that, as Jen mentioned, we try to bring the entire team to come and to be part of the conversation because equity is foundational to all the work that we do. And we want to step up and be there with you in the learning.
That's great. We're excited to have you all, and it's such an honor to, listen to your insight and to learn from each other. So that's great. So what is the single most important message you want to convey to your audience to help move racial equity forward?
That's a really good question.
I think that for me, I would say the single most important message is that we have to come together and build these bridges through relationship to actually have an impact that is going to stay and is going to break through the barriers that we need to break through.
And I would echo that. I absolutely think that relationships are foundational key to anything in life or work. I would add expanding that to partnership building across the community, across the different sectors. I think that is such a pivotal thing when we're talking about equity. We can only do so much when it's in our own space or our own circle. And so the more we could collaborate and partner and build authentic partnerships and relationships is what I'm really, really looking forward to and continuing the effort. And also just making sure that our outreach and our thinking includes folks that generally may not be a part of these conferences or a part of these meetings, and making sure that there's intentional co-design plan work, reach out, and engagement, so that we are really being centered in who we're serving, and moving in that direction.
And I think your workshop is actually set to be from 9:45 to 11:45 on April 28th. And so that's just right after the keynote. So that's going to be great. And what a wonderful way to start the morning and end, because it's on a Friday. So, you know, to end the weekend in partnership and collaboration and being in community with each other. And, you know, living in the area, in the Snohomish County area, and I've worked with both of you, relationship is so critical in the work that we do. And when we can find that relationship, that deep relationship, then we can actually be in conversation with each other, be in conversation that could actually change systems. So that way, the students that look like us can thrive, right? Yeah. So thank you so much for joining me. I know that this is a really quick podcast, but we want to just kind of like grab as much information as we possibly can in a short time. And we look forward to having both of you at the Step Up Conference on April 28th. So make sure that you promote and have your friends register. So thank you so much for bringing your staff as well too.
Yeah, thank you so much for the opportunity. We are thrilled and excited to reconnect with our colleagues and friends. And so we will see you all soon.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.